A routine traffic stop changed a police officer and a department forever. It was late afternoon in Phoenix, Arizona. The sky was painted orange and pink, and Thomas Carter was driving home after work. He loosened his tie, relaxed into the leather seat, and let the low music from the radio fill the car. But peace quickly turned into tension. Blue and red lights appeared behind him. A police siren screamed. Thomas sighed, calmly pulling over. He watched through the rearview mirror as the officer got out of the car. Tall, serious, and sharp in his uniform, the name tag read Grant. "License and registration," Officer Grant said firmly, his voice cold. Thomas handed over his documents without rushing. He noticed Grant watching him, not just checking his papers, but studying him. "Do you know why I stopped you?" Grant asked. "I stopped at the red light," Thomas replied politely. "You don't look like you're from around here," said Grant, checking his license again. "I moved here a few months ago. The address is updated." But Grant wasn't listening. His next words came with force. "Get out of the car." Thomas hesitated but stayed calm. "Is there a reason?" "Don't complicate things," Grant growled. Thomas slowly got out, his hands visible. He stood still. "Put your hands on the hood," Grant said. Thomas obeyed. Grant began to search him, fast but clearly looking for a reason to escalate, but he found nothing. "You seem to know the routine," Grant said, trying to provoke him. "I've had a few experiences," Thomas replied. "You think you're smarter than me, don't you?" Grant accused. "It's not about being smarter," Thomas said with a small smile. "It's about respect." That answer surprised Grant. Slightly thrown off, he asked again, "Do you have something to hide?" "No, officer, but you might want to know who I am." Grant scoffed. "It doesn't matter who you are." Reaching slowly into his jacket, Thomas pulled out a leather wallet and opened it. The gold badge shone. "Thomas Carter," he announced, head of internal affairs for Phoenix PD. Grant's face lost all color. He stood frozen. The power he had shown just moments before disappeared. I didn't know," he whispered. "I thought not," Thomas replied calmly, his expression steady. "I was just doing my job." Grant started to defend himself. "Was it your job to assume I was a threat?" Thomas asked. His steady, quiet tone was suddenly more powerful than any shouting. Grant had no answer. Thomas sighed. "Here's what's going to happen. You'll give me back my documents. We'll both reflect on this moment." Still shaking, Grant returned the papers. "But it won't end here," Thomas added. "My job is to make sure every officer in this department understands the responsibility of wearing the badge. Including you." Grant said nothing more. He turned and walked back to his car. Thomas watched until the patrol car drove away. Then he got back into his car and sat in silence. This wasn't about one bad officer. It was about the culture behind the badge. The next morning, Thomas sat at his desk in the Internal Affairs office. A file sat open, Officer Bradley Grant. Several citizen complaints, nothing major alone, but together they painted a clear picture, patterned misconduct. He called his assistant Rachel. "I want a full review of police training," he told her. "How are we preparing officers to treat the public with fairness?" She nodded. Later that week, Thomas met with the department head. "Officer Grant will be suspended for 3 days, the chief said. "That's not nearly enough," Thomas replied. "He's not the only one," the chief frowned. "So what are you suggesting?" "We need to fix the system," Thomas said. "Better training, more community connection, consistent audits, and support for officers to learn and grow." After hesitation, the chief agreed, slowly but sincerely. Weeks passed. New training sessions began on bias, communication, and respect. Some officers were open to change, others weren't. Thomas attended the sessions, standing beside officers, not above them. One young officer spoke up. "With respect, sir, I don't think this training will do anything." "Maybe not for some," Thomas replied. "But respect must be taught and lived every day, for everyone. We all have something to learn." Meanwhile, Thomas created community conversations, forums where citizens and officers could talk openly. One older woman shared, "I used to avoid calling the police, not because I feared the law, but because I didn't believe the law saw me." Her words stayed with Thomas. Officer Grant later went through reassessment and extra training. In a follow-up meeting, Thomas asked, What did you learn? Grant said quietly, I used to see labels, not people. That's changing. Good, Thomas said. Let your actions prove it. Improvements followed. Complaints dropped. Trust grew. The community began to notice. Officers began to listen. One day, Thomas received a letter from a young man. Mr. Carter, I want to join the force. Because of you, I believe police can do better. It brought a smile to Thomas's face. On a quiet evening, Thomas walked past the department's mural, a scale of justice painted boldly with the words, Equality is our duty. He looked up and smiled. This wasn't just a job, it was a mission. One moment on the side of the road had kick-started a change. Now, that change was growing. One person, one story, one step at a time.